Happy morning, students. I, on behalf of Gurukulam, would like to welcome you all for this great academic year. Wish you good luck for this year. And let me introduce myself. I am Vijayalakshmi Sriram, and I will be handling chemistry for you for this year. And this is a new experience that we are going to feel because we were in the classroom atmosphere, and now you are in a different place and we are in a different place. But we are going to bring us closer together. That is what is the link that you have been provided with. So no matter wherever you are and wherever the teachers are, to make this program a successful one, we need a support from you as well. So teacher and a student together, a great support will make this program a successful one. So expecting your support throughout the program, let us begin the class today. The topic for today is periodic table and electronic configuration. Now to begin with, let us recollect what we have learned in the previous class. As you all have learned that periodic table consists of so many elements, and these elements have got atomic number and mass number. Now when we say atomic number, we know it is equal to the number of electrons. Now what are electrons? Now let us recollect again about orbit, nucleus and electrons. Now this white color you can see in the center, that represents the nucleus of an atom. Now the nucleus is placed in the center, being positively charged. You can see different color orbits. Now each orbit are circular path, which is called as a shell. Now these circular path has got different energy levels. Now you can see I have represented K, L, M, N. K represents the first energy level, which is closer to the nucleus. L represents the second energy level, M the third energy level, and N the last energy level. So as the number of shells increases, the distance from the nucleus also will increase. Now we know there are electrons which are negatively charged. Electrons being negatively charged will be rotating around the nucleus. Now where do they rotate? They rotate in these fixed orbits, which we call them as shells. Now we have learned about this till the last year. Now to continue this, we are going to study in this year about the classification of shells. What do you mean by classification? Now I know there are shells which are around the nucleus. Now how do I put my electrons in it? To put the electrons, shells are classified into subshells. So my shells will be classified into subshells. So what are subshells? Subshells are the representation of the shells where the electrons will be filled in. So the number of electrons that are present in each subshell will be helping us to find out how many electrons are present in a particular shell. Now, K shell being the first energy level will have one subshell, that is S. L shell being the second energy level will have two subshells, that is S and P. L shell has got S and P. Now M shell being the third energy level will have three subshells, S, P and D. And N shell being the fourth energy level will have S, P, D and F. So the number of subshells are only 4, S, P, D and F. Now you can see the main shells are K, L, M, N. The energy level in which the shell is present, accordingly the number of shells will be obtained. That is, the first energy level will have only one subshell. My second energy level will have two subshells. The third energy level will have three subshells. And the fourth energy level will have four subshells. Now if you notice clearly, you can see the S subshell is repeated in almost all the shells, and P subshell in almost 3 of the shells. subshells belong to the first energy level, we call them as 1s. If it belongs to the second energy level, we call it as 2s, 2p. Similarly, we'll go for the third energy level and also with the fourth energy level. Now what do we understand from this? Now let us take an example 3p. If I am going to take the 3p subshell, now I know my energy, that is my electron, is present in the p subshell, which is belonging to the third shell. So the number 3, which is before the subshell, represents the energy level, or I can simply say the shell number. Okay, so this is my subshell and this is my shell number. Now how do we calculate how many electrons can be present in each shell? To calculate that, we have a simple formula which we call it as 2n square. Now what is this n here? This n denotes the energy level outside the nucleus. So it can be the first energy level, my second energy level, third, fourth and so on. Now how do we calculate? To calculate this, let us take the first energy level, K shell. Now in K shell, being in the first energy level, it will be 2 into 1 square, which is 2. So what happens in K shell? How many electrons are there? Yes, there are 2 electrons which are present in the K shell. Now if I am going to take L shell, it will be 2 into 2 square, which is again 8 electrons. So now L shell, my second energy level, will have only 8 electrons to the maximum. Now when I am going to take my third shell, it is 2 into 3 square, which is 18 electrons. So my third shell can take to the maximum of 18 electrons. And when I take N, it is 2 into 4 square, which is 32 electrons. So my N shell can take to the maximum of 32 electrons. So the formula which is used to calculate the maximum number of electrons in each shell is 2n square, when n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can see 2 electrons can be in K shell, 8 electrons can be in L shell, 18 electrons can be in M, and 32 electrons can be in N shell. Now where do these electrons go? They go in these respective subshells. Now how do we calculate that? Now let us see. I said K shell will have 2 electrons. So 2 electrons, so I say my S subshell can take only 2 electrons. S subshell can take only 2 electrons. Now if you see here, L shell has 8 electrons. Now as we already know, S can take only 2 and L shell can take maximum 8 electrons. So 8 minus 2 will be 6. So my P subshell can take maximum 6 electrons. Now third we saw M shell can take 18 electrons. So when I say 18, if I am going to split S, P and D, 2 for S subshell, 6 for P subshell, 2 plus 6 is 8 and remaining will be 10 electrons for my D subshell. Last one, N shell can take 32 electrons. So when I split S, P, D up, S can take 2, P can take 6, D can take 10. Total, the remaining will be 14 electrons in the F subshell. So now you got an idea. Here, S subshell can take maximum 2 electrons. P subshell can take maximum 6 electrons. D subshell can take maximum 10 electrons. And F can take to the maximum of 14 electrons. So children, we have learned about the shell number, the number of subshells present in each shell, and the maximum number of electrons that can be filled in each subshell. Now the most important part of the lesson, writing a subshell electronic configuration. Now last class you have learned to write shell configuration, that is using the shell number. No more we are going to use the shell number. Instead, we are going to use the subshells. Now, how do we write? While writing the subshell electronic configuration, we should always remember the electrons will be filled in the increasing order of their energies. That is, it should go from K, this is K, and this is L, this is M, and this is N. So according to the increasing order of their energies, the electrons will get filled in the subshells. Now let me give you an example. Now if I want to write the subshell electronic configuration for hydrogen. What is the atomic number of hydrogen? It is 1. 1 is the atomic number, the first element in the periodic table. Now if I want to write, I will write as 1 S 1. What does this represent? The 1 which is before my subshell says that this electron belongs to my K shell. That is, it belongs to my first shell. And where it is getting filled in my S subshell. And how do I know how many electrons are there? Now you can see a superscript here which is above the S. The number which is on the top of the S says the number of electrons that is belonging to hydrogen. I'll give you a few more examples. If I take beryllium, beryllium's atomic number is 4. So how do I write? We have to write as 1s. This is my 1s. So 1s. I know S can take only maximum 2 electrons. So I put 2 here. Now I should go to my second subshell, which is 2s. Now again I know S can take only 2 electrons. So I put 2 here. Now what happens here? Now count the electrons on the top of the subshell. 2 plus 2 equal to 4, which is the atomic number of beryllium. So I know I have 4 electrons in beryllium, 2 electrons in my first shell, 2 electrons in my second shell. I'll give you one more example, and so that you can try with other elements. Let us take carbon. Carbon has got atomic number 6. Now I need to fill 6 electrons in my carbon atom. How do I do it? I take my first subshell 1s. S can take maximum 2 electrons. Now I should have 4 more electrons remaining. So I will take 2s. Again S can take only 2 electrons. So 2 plus 2 has become 4. But I need 6 electrons. So how many more to be filled? 2 more electrons. So where do I go? I go to 2p. So I take 2p. But we have studied before, p subshell can take maximum 6 electrons. But I need only 2. So I put 2p2. So where these electrons are there? This is my K shell. This is my L shell. K shell has 2 electrons. L shell has got 2 plus 2, 4 electrons. So this is called as subshell electronic configuration. See, this will be very simple when we are writing elements till our say potassium and calcium. But when we go to D block elements, there is a small difference in the energy level. You will be seeing this in the energy diagram. In your textbook, once you get it, you will be seeing it. If you see, this is the energy level, that is 3s, 3p, 3d, 4s. But the pictorial graph says that 4s has got less energy than 3d. I repeat, the energy of 4s subshell is less than that of 3d. So when we are writing subshell electronic configuration, 4s will be written first, then comes the 3d. I repeat, the energy difference between 3d and 4s block element, 4s should be written first, then comes 3d. So what will happen? After 18 electrons, I go to 4s2. 18 plus 2, 20. Then comes 3d, 21. So this you should remember. It is 4s2, 3d1. Never write 3d3. It does not make any sense. Don't make this mistake because normally before the previous set also children, they do careless mistakes in this. So you should always remember whenever we are writing a D block element, once 3d is done, the electron goes to 4s, then only it will come to 3d. So I hope you have understood how to write the subshell electronic configuration. You will be getting the homework through the parent guide. Kindly do the homework, and if you have any doubts, don't feel shy or don't hesitate. Feel free to post your doubts. The doubts will be clarified at the earliest. Thank you, children.
Happy morning, students. Now this presentation will help you to understand much better. It is periodic table and electronic configuration, and while seeing the presentation you can also take down the notes whichever you feel that is important. Okay, and there are some general instructions like file maintenance. Separate file should be maintained for chemistry, and the note should be written from the indicators which are given in the text. I'll be marking the indicators that you can copy in your file. All the definitions should be written in the file. Extra questions and revision questions should also be written in the file, whichever questions that we discuss in the class. Textbook. Our chemistry textbook has two parts. Part 1, chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and part 2, chapters 5, 6, 7. And the marks allotted for this year will be theory 40 marks and continuous evaluation 20 marks. So total it will be 60 marks. Learning objectives. So we are going to learn the number of shells around the nucleus, the subshells present in each shell, formula to calculate the maximum number of electrons in each shell, the number of electrons that can be filled in each subshell, the relation between energy levels and subshells, and how to write the subshell electronic configuration of elements. Orbits. Now what are orbits or shells? These are circular path around the nucleus of an atom along which the electrons move. As we have learnt in the previous class about KLMN, the four shells representing different energy levels around the nucleus. As the distance from the nucleus increases, the energy of the electrons in the shells increases, and the attractive force between the nucleus and the electron decreases. Now there is a diagram which is going to give us a representation of different energy level that correspond to KLMN. Now you can see here there is a nucleus in the center, positively charged, K shell being the first energy level, L shell second, M third, and N fourth. Classification of shells. Each shell is divided into subshells SPDF according to energy level. K shell being the first energy level has one subshell, that is S. L shell, the second energy level, has two subshells S and P. M shell, the third energy level, has three subshells S, P, D. N shell, the fourth energy level, has four subshells S, P, D, and F. Classification of subshells. Subshells are represented as SPDF. So these are the subshells in which the electron gets added. Now it also helps us to find the number of electrons in a particular shell. S subshell has got maximum 2 electrons, P subshell with 6 electrons, D subshell with 10 electrons, and F subshell with 14 electrons. The formula to calculate the number of electrons in each shell is given by 2n square, where N is the energy level corresponding to 1, 2, 3, 4. So for each shell K, L, M, N, we can calculate the number of electrons by, for K shell, 2 into 1 square, that is 2. For L, second energy level, 2 into 2 square, that is 8. For M, it is 2 into 3 square, that is 18. And for N, it is 2 into 4 square, 32. So we know K shell can take 2 electrons, L shell with 8 electrons, M shell 18 electrons, and N shell with 32 electrons. These are the maximum number of electrons for each shell. Representation of shell, subshell and electrons. Now you can see here the shell number as 1, 2, 3, 4 corresponding to different energy level. Each one has a subshell SP, SP, SPD, SPDF. Now how do we represent it? Like 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 3d, 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f. Now the number written before the subshell indicates the energy level to which the subshell belongs to. So for each subshell, the number before represents the energy level. Now electronic configuration, most important in this topic. Now you can see a diagram given on your right that represents the different energy level according to the increasing order of their energies. Like hydrogen, if you take atomic number 1, the configuration begins from 1s. So there is 1 electron which will get into the 1s subshell. So it will be written as 1s1. The red color 1 denotes the number of electrons and the blue color 1 denotes the shell number. So when we are writing the configuration, always remember it should be written in the increasing order of their energy level. Some more examples are given like beryllium atomic number 4, boron atomic number 5 and carbon atomic number 6. So you can try out some more examples from the periodic table. Now this is a graph that represents the relation between subshells and energy levels. You can see on the y-axis the energy level and also on the x-axis the subshells. So if you compare 3p, 3d and 4s, 4s energy level lies between 3p and 3d. So from this diagram, it is very clear that the energy of 4s is less than that of 3d, or we can say the energy of 3d is more than that of 4s. Now it can be seen that the energy of 4s is less than that of 3d. So how do we write the subshell electronic configuration? It goes like 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s and 3d. That is, the electron first get added into the 4s subshell and then into 3d subshell. An example here with scandium atomic number 21. It is a d block element. And so what happens if you start writing the configuration with 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2 and 3d1, where the 4s subshell is getting filled first, then comes the 3d. So never write after 3p6 3d3. It is wrong and it is always 4s first and then comes 3d. So today, in today's class, we have learnt that there are 4 main shells K, L, M, N. With each shell has subshells corresponding to their energy levels. The maximum number of electrons that can be filled in a shell using formula 2n square. The number of electrons that can be filled in each subshell. The electrons are filled in the increasing order of their energy level. And finally, we have also understood how to write the subshell electronic configuration. For today's homework, you have to write the subshell electronic configuration of the following elements: calcium 20, magnesium 12, cobalt 27, zinc 30 and aluminium 13. We have already know elements like calcium, magnesium and aluminium. So cobalt and zinc comes under D block element. So when we are writing for cobalt and zinc with 27 and 30, please always remember 4s should be filled first, then comes 3D. So children, I want you to complete the homework and update yourself with the daily notes in all the subjects as well, and the notes which I have given in the presentation is fair enough, and later when you get your textbook you can copy the indicators and definitions. So whatever homework is being given, try to do it. Go through the slides. If you have any doubt, you can ask your doubts. Feel free to ask for it, and the doubts will be clarified at the earliest. Thank you children. Have a great day.